Good morning. How are we doing?
Good morning. Good morning.
Hope we're all feeling well. I'll give another minute to see if anyone else rocks in before we get started. But this is week 14, session 2. So it's our topic 4, falls and balance. So it's the second one for this week. And I believe the 4th session in this topic. So we might just get started now, and then if anyone else rocks up a little bit later, they can just join in. So firstly, I'm Luke. Nice to see you all. Like I said, welcome to session 2 of the week, topic 4, falls and balance. So today we're going to be covering a little bit of education around the different sensory systems of the body before we start the actual exercise. For the session today, the equipment you'll need are a pair of dumbbells just for the warm-up. When we get into the actual exercise session, you're going to need a softer surface to balance on. So I have a foam pad with me here, but you guys can use a towel, you can use a carpet, you can roll up a bit of clothing, you can use a pillow, just something that's going to be a little bit more unstable than the flat ground, because we're going to try and challenge our different systems today. I'll get started with, I guess, the education component now. So we're talking about the sensory systems of the body. The human body has 3 main sensory systems that all work together to assist us to stay upright and maintain our balance when we're either standing still or when we're moving. The first kind of most obvious one is our visual system. So for many people, vision is the dominant sense that we use to help maintain our balance. We get visual information about our surroundings, and it is detected by our photoreceptors in the retina, in the back of each eye. This information is then sent to the brain for interpretation via the optic nerve. The visual cortex at the back of our brain sorts through the information, and it uses this to create an image of the environment. So it creates the shape, the color, and the dimensions of the environment. The visual system aids in painting a picture of our surroundings, as well as assists us with balance and also our hand-eye coordination. So what happens kind of as we age? As we age, vision can slowly become impaired later in life due to a number of factors, including excess sun exposure, cataract formation, and different kind of hereditary or familially passed down conditions. As a result of this, visual clearance actually reduces, and it makes this system less efficient for helping us maintain our balance as we get older.
You can hear that all right.
The next main system is the vestibular system, and this system is located in our inner ears. It's responsible for kind of 4 main roles. So these roles are sensing the degree and direction of head acceleration during a movement, sensing head orientation in space with respect to the gravity, as well as coordinating effective reflexes to ensure corrections in posture and balance are made. And the last one is maintaining visual clarity during a movement. So to do all these functions, the information is gathered by hair cells within the semicircular canals of the inner ear, so all the way inside. These canals kind of contain fluid which moves with respect to gravity. As the fluid moves, it pushes on the hair cells, causing them to bend and flex and sense changes in head orientation and acceleration. So kind of the faster you move, the more it'll notice. What happens later in life as we age? So as we age, accuracy of the sensory information can decrease due to a loss of hair in the inner ears. This can lead to reduced speed of reflexes to correct postural changes. So kind of as you move, you're not as quick to counteract that moving forward motion. It can also reduce the speed of reflexes to any imbalances and can result in symptoms such as dizziness or vertigo, nausea, sometimes sweating, and loss of balance. A question I'll ask is, can exercise improve the vestibular function or prevent chronic dizziness? The answer to that is kind of potentially. It's important to understand the difference between chronic dizziness and attacks of vertigo. Exercise cannot be used to prevent or cure exacerbations of short-term vertigo attacks, but it also cannot cause them. There's a study published by Wiesmeyer in 2017, which found that a 10-week multifactorial balance program may assist with restoring vestibular orientation in older adults, as well as accelerate the brain's ability to adjust to changes in the inner ear that occur with vertigo. So that'll reduce those symptoms that we see when people age. The last of the important systems is the proprioception system. So proprioception is the body's ability to sense its position in space and movement of our limbs and joints again in space. We're going to do a bit of a mini activity now. So I'd like you all to close your eyes and try to touch your nose with your index finger. So eyes closed, trying to touch your nose with the index finger. And if you have someone sitting next to you, I want you to now try and close your eyes and try and touch their nose.
Oh.
Or if no one's next to you, I want you to find a fixed spot on the wall and try and touch that. So which of these did you find easier? I'm assuming it'd be the touching your own nose. Why do we think that might be the case? Any ideas?
It's closer to you.
Yeah? I'll go through my predetermined answer here so that I sound quite intelligent. So proprioceptive information is gathered through mechanoreceptors or touch receptors in our skin cells that help us determine where we are in space. These receptors send information to our brain, which then decides whether or not to react to a situation. So for example, if you trip on an uneven pavement, the mechanoreceptor in your foot sends a signal to your brain to take the action to aim to avoid falling. The brain then sends a message to the lower limb muscles to coordinate a reflex, taking a quick step to prevent this fall. So what happens later in life as we age? Proprioception tends to decline with age for two main reasons. So the first one, there's a reduced amount of sensory input. So we have a reduction or loss of the mechanoreceptors on our skin due to nerve damage or circulation issues. The second of these reasons that it declines as we age is there is a delay in the message transmission to and from the brain, resulting in a slower reaction time. So what happens if one or two of our sensory systems are not working? So if one or two of the visual, vestibular, and proprioception systems aren't working, we start to decline in function. The brain will learn to adapt to these changes and it will compensate by improving the function of the remaining systems. For example, a visually impaired person can maintain their balance because their vestibular and proprioceptive systems have heightened in function using exercise, have heightened in function. So using exercise to challenge the remaining systems, that will help us assist with the maintenance of stability, which is really important. Today in our exercise session, we will be focusing on challenging the different balance systems of the body. So we're going to try and target a couple of those different systems and make them work pretty hard today. So like I said before, the equipment you'll need for today is a chair, a nice sturdy chair, some dumbbells or any other kind of weight, and a softer surface. Like I said, I have a foam pad here. You can use a rolled up towel, a pillow, even just a fluffy carpet, anything that's going to give you a little bit less stability than the hard floor. So everyone's got all their equipment sorted. We might get into our warm up. So it's going to be pretty similar to the warm ups we've done in past, trying to get everything moving, and I'll give us demos as we go. So we're going to do each exercise for about 30 seconds, should take about 7 minutes in total. I'll be doing it along with you guys, obviously, so that we get the correct technique. All right. The first one we're going to be doing is, I'll move this a little bit back. So the first one is our breathe in and reaching up nice and high, getting a big stretch, and then breathing out, letting the arms come back down. So we're doing that for 30 seconds. So breathing in, reaching up as high as we can, back down. Breathing in, reaching up nice and high, big stretch, and back down. Good, we got 10 more seconds. Breathing up, reaching up high, breathing down, and we got time for one more, breathing in, and back down. The next one we're moving on to is our standing thoracic rotation. So I'm going to put my arms across my body. You can keep your arms by your side if you like, but we're twisting, keeping our hips facing forward, twisting our shoulders to one side, twisting back, twisting to the other. We're trying to just move our back, keeping our hips still, legs still. We're twisting, having a little bit of a stretch at each end, moving back. 5 more seconds of this one, stretching. And now we're going to move into walking on the spot. So just walking on the spot, don't need to lift our knees very high. Just a little bit of a walk, trying to get the legs warming up, getting them ready to go. Just a nice casual pace, walking on the spot. And we've got about 10 seconds left of walking in the spot, and then we're going to go into heel taps. So still walking, 3, 2, 1, and then heel taps, standing still, reaching forward with one foot, tapping your heel on the ground, and then going to the other side, tapping your heel on the ground, bring your feet back together, tapping, reaching forward, just as far as you feel comfortable with that heel, tapping and bringing it back. Good. We've got about 5 seconds left. 3, 2, 1. So now we're going to do our step forward into squat, squatting down just as deep as we can go, stepping back, and then stepping forward again, squatting down, stepping back, squatting down, stepping back. Doing really well. We got 5 more seconds of this one. Stepping forward, squatting down, stepping back. We're now going to do our 2 steps forward, heel tap, 2 steps back, toe tap. So from here, we're going 1, 2, tap, 1, 2, tap. So going to 30 seconds.
Tap.
Forward.
2.
So right, left, tap out in front. Right, left, tapping out at the back. 1, 2, tap. 1, 2, tap. Good, we got 10 seconds left. So 1, 2, tapping out in front. 1, 2, tapping out back. We're going to go now into high leg kicks. So we're kicking our legs up. I like to think of this as a straight leg march, keeping our legs straight, Lifting our legs as high as we can, getting a bit of a stretch down the back of our leg. Good, 5 more seconds. And then we're going to grab our dumbbells. 3, 2, 1. We're grabbing our dumbbells. Holding one in each hand, and we're doing our jabs. So for 30 seconds, punching forward. Can go nice and slow still. Good. Keeping the shoulders down, pushing the hands forward.
It's a slight variation what we were doing before.
Yeah, it's all good, isn't it?
Good, we've got about 8 seconds left. And then we're going to go into fast feet on the spot. All right, holding your dumbbells by your side. And you're going fast feet on the spot as quick as you can. So, fast feet on the spot. Getting those legs moving as quick as possible. As fast as you can, quick taps. Got about 10 seconds left. Moving those feet as fast as you can, as fast as you can. 3, 2, 1. All right, now we're going to go 30 seconds as fast as you can with the dumbbells. So going as fast as you can, forward and back. Before was slow and controlled, now as fast as you can. Got about 10 seconds left. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Going into arm circles with our dumbbells. So holding them, going round, nice and slow. Just working within our comfortable range. Going side on, making a big circle. Coming back. Good. Got about 10 seconds left. 3, 2, 1. We're now going to do high knee to leg extension. So lifting foot up, kicking it out, back, down, and we're going for 30 seconds on one side. Lifting knee up, kicking out, bringing it back down on the ground. Good, so we're going to go 5 more seconds, then we'll swap sides. 3, 2, 1, other side. Leg up, kicking it out, back together and down.
Why is that doing that?
It'll come back again.
3 more seconds. And last one, holding our dumbbells loosely in our arms. And a bit of a recover, just walking on the spot, letting the arms hang down, nice and loose through the arms. Taking in deep breaths. 10 seconds left, and we're going to get into the main part of the session today.
This is just a warm-up.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, having a rest there, done our warm-up. Hopefully you got a bit of a sweat on, just like me. And now we'll move into the main part of today's session. So like I said, we're trying to focus on challenging those different systems of the body so that we can improve our balance and maintain as much as we can as we age. So the first lot of exercises are what we call static balance. So they're going to all be on the spot. They don't require any forward movement or lateral movement. It's all stationary. But we're going to do these exercises on our soft surface. So if you guys want 30 seconds to grab your soft surface and put it on the ground in a safe spot, I recommend putting it near a wall in case you need to stabilize yourself on the wall. it's handy to have it right next to you. And we're going to go through a couple of different exercises on this static balance before we move into some more dynamic stuff. So the first exercise we're going to do is on our soft surface, we are doing a semi-tandem stance. So what that means is, I'll show you my foot position. Hopefully the blue pad on the ground makes it a bit easier to see what my feet are doing. And I'll show you from a couple of different angles. So semi-tandem means one foot's out in front, the back foot, the big toe is touching the heel of the front foot. So you're trying to be as close as possible. Kind of imagining you're standing almost on a tightrope from the front. Both feet are facing forward. From the side, you have your front foot, and then your back foot is touching the heel. I might take a sock off so you guys can see the difference between my feet. But one foot out in front, the back foot here, big toe touching the heel, feet nice and close together. From here, we're going to try and do a 30-second hold on each side. So if we're all in position ready with our feet set up on our soft surface, we will start that 30 seconds now. So I find it helps to try and focus on a fixed point, trying to keep nice and stable, challenging our proprioception and our visual systems, as well as our vestibular, trying to minimize movement so the body doesn't need to correct too much. We've got about 6 seconds left, and then we'll have a rest as we swap over. Perfect, all right. Now I'm going to put the other foot in front. So the other side, we're going to have front foot, and the back foot's having the big toe touching the heel. So they're just next to each other. They're not directly behind. They're just touching. It gives us a fairly narrow base of support, but not as narrow as we're going to get. So we'll set up and we'll start the next 30 seconds now. So trying to stabilize, focusing on a fixed point, reduces the amount of visual stimulus you're getting. So it puts less strain on the visual system and lets the rest of the systems work hard. So it's challenging that vestibular system, trying to isolate any little movements. It's also assessing that proprioception, how we can hold ourselves in space. And resting there. Good. We're going to have a 30-second break, and then we're going to do that one more time in our semi-tandem before we progress to a full tandem, which I'll show you guys later. We've got about 15 seconds more rest, and then we'll get back on our soft surface and putting that one foot forward, the big toe of the other foot just touching the heel. All right, and we'll start the next 30 seconds now. Really making sure we're focusing on a fixed point, reducing that visual stimulus so the visual system's not working as hard as it has to, putting a lot of stress on the vestibular and proprioception systems. 3, 2, 1. Now other side, other foot forward. We're going to have the other foot, again, big toe, just next to the heel. Trying to get as close as we can to touching. And we're going to do the other side. So the 30 seconds will start now. Trying to make sure, like we learned in our posture topic in previous weeks, we're trying to stay nice and upright. We're not leaning too far forward and changing where our center of mass is. We're trying to keep it evenly distributed between our feet. Working to try and minimize all movement. We got 5 seconds left. 3, 2, 1. Having a rest there. Very good, everybody. We are now going to move on to our full tandem stance. So full tandem, if semi-tandem is the big toe of the back foot touching the heel next to it, full tandem is pretty much standing on a tightrope, one foot directly in front of the other. So one foot in front, the other foot directly behind. So you're imagining standing on that tightrope. It makes our base of support much narrower. So it's going to be a fair bit more challenging. Front foot out in front, back foot directly behind, trying to get as close to touching as you can. So the back foot should be right up against the front foot. And we're going to try and balance here for 30 seconds on each side. And then we're going to try and make it a little bit more challenging as well. So in 5 seconds, we're going to start our first lot.
We're done.
All right, going into our full tandem stance. Trying to keep the weight evenly between both feet, looking at a fixed point, making those proprioception and vestibular systems work really hard. Final 10 seconds. Should be quite challenging on that soft surface, doesn't give you as much support as the hard ground. 3, 2, 1. And we'll go other way. So other foot out in front, other foot behind. You may have a side that performs better, and that's quite normal because we all have a favorite foot, but we're trying to work both sides as much as possible. So the next 30 seconds will start in about 5 seconds. So making sure we're all set up. And we're going for 30 seconds, getting that big toe of the back foot as close to the front foot as you can, imagining you're standing on a tightrope and trying to balance. All right, we got 5 more seconds. 3, 2, 1. Having a rest there. So that one should be quite challenging.
I have a difficulty with that.
We've got quite narrow base of support. So our feet are straight in line. Normally when we stand, we have our feet quite wide, and that gives us a broad base of support so our center of mass can sit evenly between both feet. Whereas as soon as we start bringing it more and more narrow, it's got less area where it can move side to side where we feel nice and stable. So it challenges us a lot and makes the muscles around our ankles, knees, and hips work really hard to stabilize. It also puts a lot of strain on those balance systems that we're working on. What you're going to do now, we're going to go back to our semi-tandem, but now we're going to make it a little bit more challenging by adding in a couple of functional tasks to try and put more strain on a couple of these systems. The first one we're going to do is in our semi-tandem. So that's where one foot's in front, the big toe of the back foot is on the side of the heel. So kind of looking like this with our feet. We're going to close our eyes. So we'll get that set up now, and we're going to try and do 30 seconds on each side. So by closing the eyes, we reduce the visual system, and we're going to make the other systems work a lot harder. So semi-tandem again, one foot out in front, the back foot, the big toe beside and touching the heel of the front foot. From here, we're going to be holding onto our wall still while we set up, so that we're holding onto an object that's keeping us nice and balanced, because in 10 seconds, we're going to close our eyes and we're going to try and hold for 30 seconds. If at any point you need to open your eyes, that's also fine, but we're trying to keep that visual system as not engaged as possible. So 3, 2, 1, letting go of the wall if we're holding, closing our eyes, and we are balancing. Going to rely a lot more on that proprioception, having to orient yourself in space, as well as that vestibular system, working to make those changes in the inner ear. We have 10 seconds left. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Opening our eyes back up. And we're going to change over, other side.
Did it?
Again, front foot,
Never.
the toes of the back foot next to and touching the heel of the front foot, holding onto the wall till we get set up. And in 5 seconds, we're going to let go and close our eyes. So 3, 2, 1, letting go and closing our eyes. Really working hard to make those small adjustments and try and stay as balanced as possible. Remember, try and keep the weight even between both feet. You don't want to be favoring one leg and making it do more work. Trying to keep the weight even between both feet. Eyes closed, really challenging that proprioception. About 3 more seconds. 3, 2, 1. Opening our eyes back up. How do we feel doing that one? Bit more challenging?
Bit more challenging.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Very good. We're now going to get back into the semi-tandem, but we're going to challenge the visual system now. So instead of having our eyes closed, we're going to have our eyes open, but now we're going to change the amount of visual stimulus we're getting as we balance. How we're going to do that is we're going to set up in our semi-tandem, feet on our unstable surface, and then we're now going to turn our head to look at one wall and then turn it back to look at the other. And we're going to keep turning our head, rotating it between looking from one side to the other as we stand. If you want to try this one on a hard surface to start with before you hop onto your unstable surface, that is okay. We're going to do 2 sets. So we're going to do 1 set with 1 foot in front. You can do that one on your hard surface if you like, and then we'll go to another set and we'll try and do this one on our softer surface. So that you guys can see what my head's doing, I'll keep the camera up here so you can see, but we're in our semi-tandem. So front foot, the big toe of the back foot next to and touching the heel. If you want to do this one on your hard surface, again, you can, but we'll try and go for 30 seconds of head rotation. So we're going to go in 5 seconds. So in our semi-tandem, nice and set up. 3, 2, 1. And we are turning our head, looking to one side, turning it back. The faster you move your head, the more visual system is being challenged. It's also challenging the vestibular system more because there's more movement at a faster pace. So the faster you move your head, the harder it's going to be to maintain your balance. We have 10 seconds left of those head rotations, moving as fast as you would like to challenge yourself. 3, 2, 1, having a break. All right, if you are on your harder, more stable surface for that one, I would now like you to get back onto your unstable surface. And this is going to be our last of our static balance drills. So in 10 seconds, we're going to go into our next set. Remember, front foot, back foot, the big toe, next to and touching the heel. All right, in 5 seconds, 3, 2, 1, beginning those head rotations. Again, as fast as you want, as fast as you'd like to challenge yourself, but the more movement increases the amount of visual stimulus as well as the amount of vestibular stimulus. So we're working 2 systems quite hard here by moving our head. Really focusing on keeping your weight even between your feet. We have 5 more seconds. 3, 2, 1, resting there. Very nice, everybody. We are now going to move on to some more dynamic balance exercises. Dynamic just means moving, so we're not going to be standing on the spot anymore. We're going to be using a chair for our first exercise. So it's called a modified lunge or a kneel to floor, because we're going to start trying to progress through phases of how to get onto the floor safely and how to get up from the floor safely. So this is our first one. It's going to strengthen up the legs, which are really important in our balance. So I'm going to adjust the camera. You're going to need for this one your nice stable chair, or you can perform this one next to a wall, just something that's going to provide you a little bit of support so that as you do the movement, you aren't unstable. So starting in, I'm going to put it on this side so you guys can see. My chair is on my far side. I'm going to be in a split stance, so 1 foot forward, 1 back. You're then going to try and move your back knee down to the floor as close as you can to the ground, and then drive back up. You have your chair or wall here for support, so as you only go as far as you can manage. Just trying to work down to the range where you feel comfortable, and then driving back up to the
left knee.
We're going to do 10 on each side. So, split stance next to a wall or with our stable chair, and we're going down. So 1, just as far as we can, working at our own pace. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and last one on this side, 10. All right, shaking the legs out. So we're going to go into the other side. So other foot's going to be forward. In our split stance, again, only working within the range that we feel comfortable. So front foot out in front, chair right next to me, so I'm nice and stable. From here, we're moving our knee down towards the ground as low as we can. All right, next set of 10, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Having a break there. Very good, everybody. We'll do one more set on each side, and then we'll move into our, we're going to do a heel-toe walk. So we'll do one more set of this one on each side, because this is going to be really important for getting up and down off the floor. So again, setting up so that you're nice and supported next to your wall or chair. 1 foot out in front, 1 behind. And in 5 seconds, we're going to go into our next set. 3, 2, 1. Lowering your knee down as close to the ground as you can. Back up. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Your knee much further down the knee.
Is that right?
5, 6. Again, only working within the range that we can. 7, 8, 9, and 10. Swapping over, so the other foot's now in front. And 5 seconds, we'll get started on our last set. 3, 2, 1, going down as far as we can, back up. Remember, the wall's there for support, or the chair. So if we need that support, we hold on nice and firm. That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, last one, 10. Very good. Having a bit of a rest. We're now going to go into our heel-toe walking with our head turn. So I'll break it down. 2 components. There is our heel-toe walking. So just like with the one we were doing before, I'll move this out of the way. So heel-toe walking. So just like our tandem, we're going all the way in front, pretty much trying to walk down a tightrope. Going out in front, putting the foot back down in front. But the next component is the head turn. So as you step forward, looking to one side, as you take the next step, looking to the other side. So this is going to work our dynamic balance. So we're going to go 10 steps forward, and then we're going to turn around and do 10 steps back the other way. We're going to break it down into those 2 sets. So starting out of the way. We'll start in 10 seconds for this one. So again, trying to focus on getting that front foot planted down directly in front of the other foot. So it's walking that tightrope. As you're walking, you're turning your head from one side, looking at the other side as you take the next step. You're going to alternate feet and which side you're looking at as you move forward. We're taking 10 steps forward.
My toe.
Ready.
I can't do this.
Stepping forward.
Okay.
If we can't do the head turns, just focus on walking forward. Don't need to do the head turns. They're just adding that little bit more challenge.
Do it.
So
Without turning the head.
2, looking from side to side if we can. If not, just focusing on the steps. 3, 4, 5, turning that head. Keep going, and 6, and 7, 8, looking from side to side. 9, and 10. Having a bit of a rest.
Can't do that.
So again, if the added stimulus of moving your head side to side is a bit too challenging, just focus on the walk. It's going to help the dynamic system work hard either way. The head turn just adds a little bit more challenge.
Challenge it does.
Yes,
That's why you practice it, isn't it?
All right, we've got about 10 more seconds, then we'll go again. Doing our next 10 steps forward. All right, ready, and 3, 2, 1, stepping forward. Remember, trying to walk that tightrope. If we can, turn the head with each step. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10.
Sorry, I'm turning that.
Very nice, everybody. We will now move into our stretches to cool down. So we're going to do 30 seconds on each stretch. We'll start with our standing calf stretch. So with our wall or chair in front of us, we're going to have one foot back. The foot that's back, you're trying to keep the heel on the ground, the back leg straight, and then you're trying to move your hips forward so that you're feeling the stretch down the back of your legs. And we're holding this for 30 seconds. So the further you put your leg out the back, the more stretch you'll be getting down the calf if you keep the heel on the ground. Halfway there, then we'll swap sides. Final 5 seconds, 4, 3, 2, 1, and swapping sides. So other foot back, keeping that heel on the ground. Might be a bit tighter on one side than the other, but trying to keep that back leg straight, heel on the ground. Should feel a nice stretch down the back of the legs. We have 15 seconds left, and we'll move on to our next stretch. Three, two, one. Giving the legs a bit of a shake out. The next stretch is our shoulder stretch. So we're taking one arm out straight, other hand behind the elbow, and pulling across the body. We should feel a nice stretch down the back of our shoulder. And we are holding for 15 more seconds, and we'll swap sides. So pulling it as tight as we need till we feel that stretch. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and swapping sides. Other hand behind the elbow, pulling the shoulder, pulling the arm across the body, feeling that stretch down our shoulder. 20 seconds left. Only going as tight as we need till we feel that stretch. Remember, it should feel tight. It shouldn't be painful to pull across the body. So if it feels painful, just ease it off a little bit till it just feels a bit of a stretch. 4, 3, 2, 1. We're now going to go lateral flexion. So we're going to stretch out by going slow, creeping our hands down the side of our body, letting this side stretch as we move to the side. And then we're going to go slow back the other way. We're going to do 10 each side. So that's 1. Just creeping the hands nice and slow down the legs, working at your own pace till you feel that stretch, bit of a hold, and then moving back slowly, other way, creeping the hand down the leg till you feel that nice stretch down here. Good, that's 2. Working at our own pace, feeling that stretch. That's 3. 4.
Excuse me.
Bit of a stretch down each side. 5. Only working within what we can till we feel that nice stretch. 6. We'll actually just do 2 more each side. 7 and 7. And last one each way, creeping that hand down, big stretch on the opposite side. And last one, creeping down, feeling that big stretch. Last one we'll do is our thoracic rotation stretch. So again, hands across the shoulders if we need, or hands by the side, and we're twisting. And we're trying to move our spine, keeping our hips facing straight forward. I'm going to hold here for 15 seconds. Final 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and back the other way. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're all done for the day, everybody. How did we find that session?
Yeah, quite good.
Good, quite challenging our balance a fair bit.
Yes.
Yeah, particularly the tightrope.
Yeah, that one is, I'm still trying to master that one. I'm just happy I didn't have a big accident on film. All right. Anyone have any questions before we wrap up?
You got any questions? No.
No questions?
No.
All right, very good. So next session on the Tuesday next week, still be working on this topic. So still covering balance and falls, and we'll have some different exercises in there.
Great.
All right. Have a great rest of your day.
Uh,
And see you
you
guys
too.
for the next session.